What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and we're back once again with day 4 of Grand Party. And look, we get a little unlucky, I would say, in this video. Yeah, we actually did drop a game, so we are not going to be reaching the 15 victories this time around, unfortunately. Would have been awesome if we were able to do that, but unfortunately we did drop a game. But, you know, after people have had a little bit more time to kind of understand the Gear 5 GP leader, it's come pretty abundant to most of the community that this is probably the best burst in the game at this point. And the fact that people are literally investing level limit break wanted posters into this character immediately to get him to as high as 150 as possible, so that when you use that burst skill, you are doing absurd amounts of damage. Like, I believe if you have him at 150 completely capped out, his burst does over 10,000 damage guaranteed to all enemies. Like, that's just really dumb. That's absurd. You know, the fact that you could launch that at the start of the game, get the enemies either dead or extremely low, and then after a couple of skills, you just kill everything. Of course, it is dependent on what you're coming up against. Like, if you're up against some teams that maybe have a healer or two, you maybe want to be a bit cautious as to when you are using that skill. But, like, it's just insanity, dude. The fact that this character is capable of doing what it's able to do. I do feel like that Gear 5's burst was a bit of a mistake. It is incredibly powerful. But anyway, speaking about this first game, we got pretty comfortable victory there, Sai versus Dex, and then we end up moving into the second game, which is going to be my quick team versus an opponent's strength team, and the strength team just had no answers, especially due to the fact that we had our burst skill, and the opponent did not. So we're able to, I believe I wait for the Akainu special to get the health cut, and then I just use the burst skill to kill, and at that point we just win, so no real big issues with this game at all. Moving on to the second matchup, so we're going to be starting off this match with my Dex team versus the opponent's quick team. You do see they're using Zoro as the leader, and I had to get a little bit of a refresher as to what Zoro actually did. And he's actually got a really good GP skill and an ability. I think he's actually a very solid leader. Because in order to activate it, you just have to let your enemy launch 7 rumble skills. That's it. So that's pretty easy to get, pretty comfortably. In most games, you'll be able to get that. So it's a pretty strong effect, and it also does damage through defense. Obviously, you know, Gear 5 Luffy's is better because it guarantees to hit all enemies. However, Zoro can only hit, I believe it's like 3 enemies with like high defense or something like that. So yeah, it's still a really good skill. You do have to be very cautious of that. And at this point here, due to the fact that we have Blackbeard, it just helps us charge the Gear 5 Luffy skill very comfortably. And I mean, look, it is just Dex versus Quick, and it's pretty comfortable victory for us in this first game. When we look forward into the next game, though, it's going to be Sai versus Dex. And I also felt really confident there as well, due to the fact that we had the Gear 5 skill ready to go. Obviously, I had it on deck for this game, could have used it, but no real reason to, considering how far ahead we actually were. So we're going to go ahead and keep that. I was really hoping that the opponent used their burst skill right before the start of the next round. However, we actually killed them as they charged the skill, so that was a little bit unfortunate for us. So we're going to start the second match here, and I believe he's going to use his burst skill straight away, which is going to do quite a lot of damage to a handful of our units, which is not good. But we're able to hit through that, and considering he's running, you know, characters like Dofi, Kid, Moria, Wano Law can help debuff those characters so they don't launch their special as often. And then from here, we've got our burst skill, and, you know, as I said, we only really need to win one more game in this match. So as long as we're able to do that, and then we use our skill, and then we have a bunch of skills that follow that, we can start getting some knockouts, which is going to be massive for us, and we can just pick up the very swift victory from there on out. There really wasn't a lot the opponent could do, as that burst skill and all of those specials just wave cleared the entire stage, and then we actually charged up the Gear 5 Luffy's skill again, just so strong. So now we get to the point where we actually end up dropping this match. So of course we're up against Gear 5 because everyone's using Gear 5 right now as their GP leader, and it was kind of luck of the draw in terms of what I would come up against. So I did see this team because I knew that, you know, Quick would have a really good matchup versus Strength. I wasn't really too concerned about that. I really didn't know what the best option was to go against Psy-Free Spirit. I think at the end of the day, I ended up using my own Psy-Free Spirit against my opponent's Psy-Free Spirit, which left my own Free Spirit team against another unknown team. So I really wasn't too sure what we were going to be having there. So anyways, as I said, you know, we actually, I don't know why I did it. I did end up using one of the GP burst skills of Luffy just to guarantee the win, because the opponent had some pretty scary characters that could have caused an issue for us. But looking back at it, I did kind of wish that I kind of kept that, as it might have given us a better chance in this second game here, which is going to be the Psy mirror match. And I believe win this game is actually kind of good for me, because I'm able to force my opponent to use their GP skill twice, which is really good. So it means that we can actually head into the final game. My opponent has no more burst skills and I have mine. So that puts us at a really good advantage. However, with what occurs in game 3, made me really consider the fact that potentially, you know, investing some level limit break wanted posters into Luffy might actually be the way to go. As if I had a bit more extra damage, I could have knocked out some key players in that third game that would have enabled me to secure victory. We'll talk more about it once we get to it. But the opponent's team is just so annoying, dude. The opponent was running a Dex team, and initially when I saw it was going to be a Dex team, I was very excited because I had a good feeling that my Free Spirit team should beat a Dex team. However, what I didn't account for was the fact that the opponent opted to have some very annoying strategies, with implementing Chinjiao on the front line for special reverse and special bind mechanics, which caused a lot of fuss for us. However, they also put Roger and Newgate on the front line as well, and that was very difficult to deal with. And this is what I was saying, is that if my Luffy was a bit more higher invested, I believe my burst skill would have been enough to actually knock out Roger Whitebeard. We wouldn't have had to worry about his skill at all, and that would have put us in a very good place in order to try and secure victory. But the Chinjiao on the front line was a huge asset to my opponent, as they gave them a really good opportunity to stop us from launching specials, and that was really the difference, honestly. The Chinjiao restricting the amount of specials that we could use was one of the main reasons why we lost this game. So unfortunately, we take the L. We move on to day 3, see if we can pick up to 14 wins, hopefully pick up as many rewards as we possibly can. That's going to wrap it up for me though. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you guys did, make sure to leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Other than that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.